Hey, welcome back. Now, in the last video, we created a blueprint callable function called footstep, and we've called this function in our footsteps notify, allowing us to get our blueprint callable function called, and in C++, we get the physical surface type by doing a line trace and seeing what surface type we're currently standing on. In this video, we're going to do something based on that surface type. So we're going to use this function to get that surface type and return it to us here in our footsteps notify. So we're going to go ahead and change this function so that it has a return type for the physical surface. And since the physical surface is what we're getting from this function, we're going to rename the function as well to something like get footstep surface type or get surface type. So let's go back into shooter_character.h and let's call this function get surface type. And this is going to return a surface type. So a surface type has the type e physical surface, and that's what this function is going to return. So we're going to have a e physical surface return type. So get surface type, we'll go ahead and go into shooter_character.cpp and rename this function from footstep to get surface type. And we'll give it the return type of e physical surface. So what we're going to do now, instead of simply printing a message to the output log, is we're going to return the physical surface for whichever physical material we hit. Now we can do that as follows. So the uPhysicalMaterial class has a static function, and we're going to call that function, it's called determineSurfaceType. So rather than all this here, I'm going to highlight this and delete it, and I'm going to say uPhysicalMaterial, and I'm going to call the uPhysicalMaterial static function determineSurfaceType. Now, determineSurfaceType requires a physical material, and we can get that from our hit result. So we're going to say hit result dot physMaterial, and from physMaterial we're going to use the dot get function. Now physMaterial can be treated like a pointer, as we saw earlier, because it's actually a smart pointer of the type tWeakObjectPointer. Now tWeakObjectPointer is a struct. We can actually take a look at the Unreal Engine documentation for that. Here is the tWeakObjectPointer struct, which is really just a wrapper to hold a pointer. And well, it's a smart pointer, and we're not going to get into smart pointers in this video, but just know that it's a struct, and you can get the value of this pointer using the get function. And also the arrow operator is overloaded for this, so you can dereference the pointer using the arrow operator as well, as if it's a regular pointer, but it's actually a struct. So we're going to use .get. Now this will return the value in the form of an e physical surface. So we can simply return the value returned by determineSurfaceType. So we're going to return this from the getSurfaceType function, and instead of calling the footstep function, which no longer exists, we're going to call this new getSurfaceType function in our notify. Now before we compile this, there's one change we need to make. Because we're using the ePhysicalSurfaceType, we need to include a module in our build.cs file. So we're going to go to shooter.build.cs, and here in the string for public dependency module names, we're going to add PhysicsCore. PhysicsCore. And now that we have PhysicsCore, we will be able to have the ePhysicalSurfaceType as a function return type. So go ahead and compile that. Now back here in the editor, we're no longer using the footstep function, but we now have getSurfaceType. So we're going to drag off of shooter character, and type get surface type, and we'll call get surface type. Now get surface type is going to return the surface type that we're standing on. Now we can use a switch statement by dragging off of this and typing switch, and we can switch on E physical surface. And we'll get a default case as well as a case for each of these different types of physical surface that we've defined. Now we're going to call play sound and spawn system at location, and we can select default sounds and particles for the default case. So we can plug this in and use these sounds and particle systems for the default case. But what I'd like to do is have a different sound and particle system for each of these cases. So since we've set up grass in this particular video, let's go ahead and copy these and we'll paste them down here, and we'll plug grass right in to play sound at location, and we'll use our grass sound cue. So I'm going to type in grass and get footstep grass, and we'll use our location from get socket location right here. And we'll also use our location for spawn system at location, and for the system we're going to use the grass PSN grass surface, and we'll plug this into the return node as well. So we have a default and we have a grass, and for the others we really don't have anything yet, but we'll set those up. But for now, let's go ahead and compile this and hit play, and we'll go ahead and see how this looks and sounds. So as I'm walking and we're on this ground that doesn't have a physical surface set, we're getting that default particle system. Now here on the metal, we're not getting anything because we haven't hooked anything up to the metal on the switch statement. But let's jump up onto the grass. And now we can hear that our footsteps sound like grass. And if you kind of tilt the camera down, you can see that we're spawning grass particles at our feet. So that is starting to actually look pretty cool. So we're going to conclude this video here, and in the next video we're going to set this up so that we can efficiently use the particle systems and the sound cues for the other surface types. So we'll take care of that in the next video. I'll see you soon.